The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
The Earnestly Podcast. I'm your host, Earnest EJ Christian. We're still locked in quarantine, so I'm bored as shit. So we're gonna do something new on this podcast. Start ranking things, and start off. I want to rank by. Well, we're gonna rank rather. That's the group thing here. Of course, the two Rosalyn Ross, GW Gras, shooting the shit crew. First pod since I think January, right?
Something like that. It's been a
No,
while.
That's pretty
no.
bad.
I think
Been a while.
I think we did a pod in February, but we were not.
I will check right now because
the pandemic happened.
Roz doesn't believe me.
Been
Anymore,
unable.
say. I'll tell you right now because I have the book right here. It doesn't matter, whatever. We've been waiting for this for a very long time. This episode, this The Office, of course. And by the way, Roz, you're correct.
Translation: we've been waiting on you to finish
Yes,
watching it
that's
so
true.
that
Thank
you
you.
can do this
Oh, and by the way, I'm watching the show again. Just for the record, it's that good.
The whole thing. You're gonna
Yeah.
watch the whole thing
Again.
again. Okay.
I think I'm actually gonna start it this weekend or something actually because I'm actually staying with my mother-in-law for now for purposes because of all this stuff going on.
How's she doing?
So
Yeah.
she's actually all right. She's all right. She's out the room, whatever. You know, she has her grandson
Very good.
around here keeping her company. So
Good to hear that.
you know,
Good to
yeah.
hear that.
So
Good to hear that.
so she's good.
And by the way, Roz, you're correct. We did a show actually after the Super Bowl, so you're correct. February 6th.
See,
I
keep up, and really, I need credit for this one because I was the driving force that was like, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this. So
Yeah.
let me get cue up some applause, whatever track, and thank me for this because I said we have to do it and we're doing it.
No, I always thought I was the me person on this team.
It's Roslyn. It's Roslyn. Dude, let me tell you right now, G. Roslyn has done a bit of a heel turn the last couple months now.
Yeah, she has. Yeah, you know, I think everybody's tired of my shtick, so they're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
But Roz is kind of doing the heel turn.
Yeah. Roz.
Well, it's
yeah.
the apocalypse, and so I can't be responsible for my behavior in the apocalypse.
Guess so.
Anyway, so we're gonna. This is not a typical Earnest Speaking podcast. That's a new series we do on this on this show called Rank 'Em. We wanted to talk about The Office, and I figured the best way to do this really in a way that was more conducive was ranking our characters of the show because this show, what makes it special is not just the core group of Michael Scott's and Dwight's all that. It's really the entire ensemble of the cast that makes the show to me amazing. Now, I just finished the show last week. I ended it. You guys have been done for years, obviously. So I'm pretty psyched about this. So here's how we'll do this. We're gonna. I tell you guys to write out your top 10 characters in order, 1 to 10, power ranking style, of course, and we're gonna go 10 to 1. We'll reveal it. You say why, this and that. We'll debate it, all that. It should be a fun time. So. We had a lady on the pod, of
Well,
course.
listen.
Go ahead. Yes.
I gotta apologize off the top because
To who?
you can clearly tell that I don't do a lot. I gotta apologize to you guys because you can clearly tell that I don't do a lot of in my sports writing. I didn't do a lot of ranking because first what I did was I have 2 lists. I have the list of I know it was an accident because I decided that we were ranking when I heard you say what we were doing.
Yeah.
I instead somehow did hate to love. So people that I hate the most all the way up to people I hate the least. And then I have
Who would do that?
I know it's so
I mean, the
dumb.
show. To
And
be honest,
then
though,
I have
yeah. To her credit, though, the show is it's such a big ensemble. You can do that, though. Honestly.
it is well. And here's the thing: I was really planning to bellyache on this, to get on here and say, so this is what we're doing. We're going to make a whole show out of this. Until I went to the IMDb, and I'm like, man, there were a lot of people on this show regularly over many. I mean, folks that you got to know over many episodes, even if they weren't part of the core cast. So,
well, let's do this before we get started.
I was not prepared.
So let's do this then before we get started. Then, I did say this to you guys in the text a couple days ago. Give me your 3 worst characters that you can't stand the most in the show.
Oh, well, see,
in
that's
any
why
order.
my list comes in handy.
So give me your 3 worst characters on the show. I have my 3. Rosalyn, go first.
Worst is Todd Packer.
What?
I hate him.
That's insane. No, he's not. Top
well,
Pack
wait
is
until you hear
amazing.
my next worst. I mean, slightly less worse than that. But Todd is my least favorite person.
That's crazy.
Wow, really?
How was that crazy? He was terrible.
He was fucking hilarious.
He is funny though.
His
Shit though. I
jokes
hate
were
him though too.
disgusting. He was crass. His jokes were disgusting. He was terrible. He was horrible.
No, this,
So,
that just shows that Rosalyn cannot go out and have a good time.
Give me 2 more, Rosalyn.
What do you think? I have a great time
Whatever,
when I
man.
go out. I hate her. I don't want to hear stupid, terrible, sexually harassing jokes and see weird, disgusting stuff. No.
You remember
Okay.
the-
This is gonna up y'all. This is gonna really upset y'all. Andy.
No,
I hate Andy.
I'm with you on that.
I don't
He's
hate
my
Andy.
favorite.
No, I don't
I hate
hate him,
Andy.
but he's not
I hate
on my
him.
10. That's right. He's not on my top 10. That's right now.
Yeah, you know what
And
it is
it's
about
really
Andy?
funny. Go ahead, G.
I was gonna say, what is it, Andy? At the beginning, you like him
Yes.
because he's pretty harmless. He's funny,
Yep.
and then once he starts shitting on Aaron, you hate him.
Yep. I agree 100%, G. In
Yeah.
fact,
I don't even
he
know
went-
that I liked him in the beginning.
So
I liked
go ahead, Russ.
when he first got there and when he punched that wall. I was like, get this dude out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently,
I liked
was
him.
like, go away. No, get the hell out of here. And then he reappears, like he goes to anger management, and he comes back, and he's fairly harmless and funny. But then you're right. Once the whole, I think, was it with Aaron, or did something happen?
It was
Aaron. It was Aaron.
But didn't something happen with him and Dwight as well? Like
Early on the show.
That. Like
Early
I
on,
thought.
they became cool by the end of the show, though. They were cool by the middle.
Yeah,
of the show.
I didn't like his early treatment of Dwight.
Yeah, but let's be fair.
Aaron,
like Dwight was sleeping with Angela with that fiance, so like I think that's a wash.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I think I was even mad. I think I was mad before Dwight was sleeping with her because I thought he should have. This is unreasonable, but I thought he should have guessed like that was a thing. Like
right.
Dwight was giving him a lot of hints that they had been together, and he seemed to be
He's simple-minded
a jerk
for a guy who went to Cornell. He's very simple and
he's terrible.
Yeah,
let me say this quick about Andy though. Like when he came on the show, he was annoying as shit. Then I loved him. And then I hated his character arc at the end of the show. I hated it.
Yeah.
So,
he was the worst.
Yeah.
He was terrible. He was the worst.
And who's your third, Ross? Your third person?
Nelly.
Oh, I like Nelly. She doesn't
Nelly.
Nellie's annoying, but she's
No.
She doesn't bother me either.
No.
You see,
Nelly came in there. She was terrible when they went down to do the expansion in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
She was underhanded, and then she comes to the office and she just basically takes, I forget, whose job was it?
Andy's.
Who was the biggest?
She took Andy's job,
Andy.
which was hilarious.
Well, she took his job. It was funny, but and a lot of those, like, honestly, a lot of those back side of the series characters felt almost, and they're all brilliant actors and very hilarious, but they kind of felt like they were just chugging folks in, like plugging a whole bunch of people in, and so a lot of what I feel about those characters is just based on the fact that I didn't want to be bothered. Like, it got to be like when we started getting to Gabe and Pete and the other dude who was like the mini Dwight. It's like,
Plop.
who are all of these people? Yeah. Plop. And I'm like, go away. So part of it just has to do with me being like, what are we doing? There's too many people on this thing.
Yeah.
But Nelly, she still made the list.
Okay. I mean, not my bottom, but I can see why. All right, G, what's your three? Your 3 worst characters?
From mine's, it was, I'll say it was Andy, Gabe, and Bob Packer. Not Bob Packer, sorry, Bob Vance.
You like Bob Vance, really?
Yeah, I hate
don't
Bob
understand
Vance.
this hate of Bob Vance. Why do you hate Bob Vance?
Because, first of all, I kind of feel like he was abusive to Phyllis and nobody wanted us to talk about it.
Really? You think so?
I think there was an underlying thing there. Like, I never liked his demeanor. I always felt like he was one of those guys that because he was taller than people, he thought he was tough. I don't know.
He looked like a MAGA guy.
Yeah, he does. Yo, you're right. He does look like a MAGA guy. Yeah. Like,
Dude, apparently he was the most successful businessman in the city.
He
So,
was.
I mean, he was being like a CEO level jerk in a refrigeration wardrobe.
So you said
But-
Andy.
and yeah, Andy for the same. And Gabe, I think
Jason's
you.
creepy shit.
Gabe is just
Creep.
He's just irky. He's just
he was
irky.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, he just.
Gabe made my list right after. If you had asked me to do my fourth,
Mine too. He
it
would
would have
have
been
made my
Gabe.
list.
He's right there.
He would
I don't
be
like
mine
Gabe.
also
Yeah.
too. My three worst. I hate Kelly Kapoor. Can't stand her. Annoying as shit.
Doesn't really do anything.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and the little she does gets under my skin. Like, you're an idiot. Get out of here.
She has me dying. She has like one line of show, and it's fucking hilarious to me.
I agree. She's hilarious. Yeah.
Like when Ryan came back and he was all corporate,
Yeah.
and he was like, "All right, guys, you have any questions?" And she goes, "Yes, I do. How dare you?"
Of course, the next person too is Ryan, who I can't stand. I probably hate him more than I hate Kelly.
I like Ryan.
Ryan's an idiot.
I like
Ryan's a fucking moron.
I didn't like Ryan, but I don't like Ryan nor Kelly, which is odd.
Yeah.
But Ryan nor Kelly made either of my weird breakout lists. Like they weren't.
Either.
I didn't.
Right.
They didn't fall into my favorites, and they didn't fall into my hatreds. I mean, they were funny, and they got on my nerves, but otherwise they didn't.
I never understand how he got like an actor's billing on that show. I mean, I know he's a writer, but so was like Kelly, and so were a lot of people on that show. I never understood why he got a billing as an actor billing on that show from beginning till season 7 or 8. I never got that. But
probably did favors. I don't know. My
I don't know what it was. Like,
my last one's gonna shock you. I can't stand Robert California.
Robert California made my hate list. He made but he's number 2. He made it high up on that list.
Okay. Guys are crazy. Robert California's great.
Oh, of course you like him. Of course you like him.
He was hilarious, dude. That dude is hilarious.
He was hilarious, though. He had
some
some really good lines. Like, he had some one-liners that were pretty freaking amazing.
Right.
But he did make my hate list. He's just high up on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to do our 10 favorite cast members of the entire show. We'll go 10 to 1. We'll debate it like we just did a little while ago with the hatred list. So, Roz, go first. Who's your number 10 most liked character on The Office?
I'm having so much trouble with you wording it that way, but Angela. Because I didn't love her, but she's at the bottom of the list of people that I mostly liked.
It's funny you said that. It's funny you said that.
She's funny.
It's funny you said that, Roz, because I also have Angela number 10.
Oh, yay!
Yes,
Okay.
because
my list
and it's funny
so
because because my wife, we're watching it again together. She can't stand her. She's like, there's nothing redeeming about her. I don't get it. I go, there's something about her. I don't know what it is. She's a fucking bitch, and I get that. But there's something about her where I can't seem to let go. Yeah, did she fall down my rankings throughout this series? Yeah, but for some reason I always kept rooting for her. And I'm so when you go through the shit with the the senator and Oscar all that. I was rooting for her, to do well. And I mean, she at the end, she won in the end. She married Dwight and all that. So, I was happy for her, of course. So
the thing with the senator humanized her. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
only reason that she didn't get on my hate list is because of the humanity I saw in her when the whole character when the whole thing happened with the senator.
I agree.
That's the only reason she didn't make it. Ultimately, though, nothing of her behavior at all made me really like her. But I found myself most sentimental about her story at the end. Probably more
right.
Like, I was really invested in that in a way that I wasn't, not even in her getting with Dwight, because that just was like a thing they did, but like watching her like go through the senator. He's gay. He's also sleeping with Oscar. She's sleeping in Oscar's closet. Something about that story really, really got to me. So it's her story that endeared me to her. But nothing about the way she acted or talked to people or anything. That she really hit a low point when those dudes were outside getting ready to do a duel over her when Andy and the wife were outside. Like watching her enjoy that boiled my insides.
Yeah.
So She was not a favorite of mine at all.
Okay. G, number 10.
Jan.
She's hot.
Yeah,
She's hot.
like Jan gets points because she's the hottest girl on the show.
Think so?
And, yeah, I think she's the hottest girl on the show,
Okay.
Jan. And I think that's props to her because she was probably one of the oldest girls in the show.
Yeah.
You know. But I loved her character because at the beginning she's this very stern businesswoman, hates Michael Scott. She ends up falling for Michael Scott in a weird relationship, and then she just loses her complete shit.
Yeah.
Like, and I even liked her in the later episodes where she's established in her own industry and she's still a fucking lunatic. And remember that scene with Pam, and Pam is terrified of her.
Yeah.
Like, she's such a nut job that Pam is sitting there with her, scared to make a move. Like, I think Jan, acting wise, like, it was great. Like I said, you saw that difference from the beginning where she was a stern, very upright businesswoman, and then she just kind of loses her shit, and she's a nut job. But at the end, she still became that businesswoman, but they combined it with the nut job. So, like, I loved her with Michael. That relationship to me was hilarious. Like, I loved that one.
It
was messy, and it was so toxic, and it was great.
It's funny because, like, with
Jan.
With Jan, real quick, you start the show with her having it all together. She knows what she's doing, but then she unravels. Episode.
And she does it to herself. She does it to herself.
And it's not her fault. It's not Michael's fault. It's her fault.
No.
Go ahead, Ross. You're saying?
Jan made my number one. She was number one on my least hated list because you're right. Like, so she's right at the crux of getting a 10. For all the reasons that y'all said.
You hate her the most on the show?
No, the least.
I hate her
of
the
her
least
hated
of
list.
the people I hate on the show.
Yo, Roz, this quarantine is killing Roz. Roz has lost her shit, man.
Wait, I love the way you just interpret what I said. You're like, no. She said.
I understood it perfectly.
Yeah.
but the fact that you would make that list, is insane. Right?
But there is a in the same way G was saying about Jan about being hot and same thing with Angela. Like, I think a lot of it too. Also, in addition to Angela's kind of hot, petite and hot, so that's part of it too for me.
I was gonna say while we're doing this, we're like, if someone has, like, I don't know, if someone has Creed at number 8 and someone else has him at 3, the number 3 shouldn't say that I'm at number 3. Just add to the conversation. Like, don't just jump ahead.
Right.
I was gonna say.
No, I agree. Okay.
Just keep it out.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Okay, number 9 for you, Roz. Who's number 9 most favorite character on the show?
This is gonna take you down, but it's Pam.
Oh.
I'm actually surprised she made your list because you hate
Me too.
her.
I was gonna say that.
I'm surprised she made your list.
I cannot deny what I felt for Pam all the way up until Jim wanted to do sports. I really did I really, really, really liked Pam. On first viewing, I really liked her, and I had a lot of compassion for her confusion and her inability to move forward and get with Jim. I had a lot of compassion for that. But on rewatch, by the time we got to them being married, she just, how I feel about her. So, yeah, but I can't, to not have her on the list would be me denying the fact that I really did like her
right
the first time I viewed the show. And I liked where their story came from at first.
Right.
So, but she's number 9.
So you had that big argument. You had that big argument about Pam back in September on the show, which I shared as a clip on social media, which was actually got a lot of hits. A lot of people will talk about that. One of my friends will talk about that who love the show. I have to be honest with you. I side with G on the argument.
Yeah, she's a lot more faithful.
I'm so surprised that y'all don't see it the way that no one sees my
not that. Is that Jim never actually consulted her? He just did things and without even seeing.
Exactly.
Like, hey, that's all it was.
Exactly.
He
kind of just went about.
Now I love Jim, so I'm not knocking Jim here, but that's the I can see her perspective now. Watching the show, I see her perspective.
I'm not going to dominate on my number 9 choice, but I'll only say this.
Okay.
So yes, he was. I'm not sure that I would appreciate Jim doing anyone else like that, or if that is a thing that I would want to happen in my personal life. But she had just demonstrated such paralyzing fear. Like, I don't know what you do with somebody like that.
She was.
They,
Simple.
but,
she
but
was.
I get that's who she was, but I'm saying that should allow for some level of leeway and understanding about why he felt like he always had to move the needle forward, because otherwise she just had a whole bunch of fear on her that would have never let them do anything, I feel. So it's
a good point. She's very simple though, and that she was definitely where the word go, even with the first boyfriend. So
yep.
My number 9 is Michael Scott, and honestly, he wouldn't have made the list if it wasn't for the last season he was on the show, season 7. He actually became redeemable at the end. Dude, Michael Scott annoyed the shit out of me when I was watching the show. Now that being said, I think now on rewatch, I'm sort of starting to appreciate him a little bit. I think what got to me with Michael Scott really was the narcissism. It was over the top, to the point of fucking I just want to poke you down with a fucking pencil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But I will tell you why he made the rankings. You'll see why in the names to come. Why I actually appreciate him in the end.
I have a feeling that my list is completely backwards compared to both your lists.
Okay,
honestly,
I can guarantee it's backwards because.
Because my number 9 is Aaron. I have Aaron in there because I thought Aaron was I thought she was the most adorable person on the show, and I loved how her relationship with Michael Scott was. She wanted a father because you see the whole way through, until the final episode, she doesn't have a mother or father. She's an orphan, and she looks at Michael. She wants that support. She wants that. She's Pam's replacement. She knows she can't be Pam, and he adores Pam. And it wasn't to that episode. I think it was Scott's Tots or whatever it was,
right?
Where he tells you you're doing a really good job. And her face, she was adorable. I don't know, she just won me over the way she was. Even with Andy, she was like, I don't know, I thought we were going on a real date. Everything about the what's her name in real life? I forgot her name right now. I always want to call her Kimmy Schmidt, but that's not her name. Ellie Kemper.
Ellie Kemper.
Because I love Kimmy Schmidt's show too. I thought she's pretty much
that's
Aaron.
Brilliant. You guys put me on to that, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I saw the pilot, but that's about it.
And even though I won't lie,
Titus
Titus steals the show, but it's a great show.
Titus is it's really good though.
Titus is amazing. But Aaron for me, even at the last episode where Joan Cusack comes out, it's her mother. You get emotional for Aaron because you really want that for Aaron. Yeah. And I think that's more credit to the writers because Aaron wasn't even on screen that much. But the little that they did, they made you just feel for this girl because the way she portrays herself as this really simplistic girl who was an orphan, you couldn't feel anything but sorry for her. And I loved how she hated Holly at the beginning because she was so protective of Michael.
Yeah,
she hated Holly. I thought it was adorable.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100%. She's not on my list, but she made an impact. It's funny. I was rooting for her and Andy originally. I'm so glad they didn't work out. Andy didn't deserve her. Fuck him.
Andy's a dick.
Yeah, fuck him.
White
privilege, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anyway, number 8, Rosalyn.
Creed.
Aha! I like it.
Yeah. I like that. I don't know. Listen, the episode where somebody down in some paper warehouse somewhere or wherever it was drew a penis, was it? Or was it 2 cartoon characters? One of them was giving whatever happened, and they ended up sending that paper out to schools or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
The methodical way by which Creed created a whole story about how that happened to avoid being blamed for the fact that he wasn't doing his job, that he wasn't talking to quality control. That episode right there single-handedly made me give all the props ever to Creed. For somebody who did not, who was always in the background of a thing, but really never... there wasn't a Creed episode, you know what I mean?
Right.
So he was always kind of hanging around in the background, just providing little weirdness
mm-hmm.
to storylines and shows and plots. But that episode where he got a whole person fired because he just never went down and inspected the paper, methodically, point by point, who wasn't at work today?
Yeah.
And from there, yeah.
I love this.
Yeah,
I just love.
my guy.
I just love the soulness of his character in the show. He's always not. He has 1 or 2 lines in the show. That's about it. An episode. but it feels impactful. Like he makes an impact. This
Yeah.
little time in the show.
I forgot who it was, either Pam or Jim. They picked up the phone. They were just trying to delay something, and they act like they're on the phone with a customer, and they're like, that customer just let us know the package got there. And they weren't on the phone with nobody. Then the screen goes to Creed. He goes, that package is never supposed to get there. So what is he talking about?
Oh God!
Yeah.
Even in the last episode, he just basically said he wandered into the office, took a seat in the back, and just stood there.
All right, my number 8 is Daryl. I love his character, how it grew through the entire show. He went from being just a warehouse guy to being one of the main characters. Well, close to being one of the main characters of the show.
He was
him taking a chance.
bully at the beginning.
Was it what?
He was a bully at the beginning.
Probably was.
To Michael.
Yeah, Michael deserved it though. Come on now. No, but Daryl seeing him grow up and and going to the job he got in the office and then taking off and going to the doing the company that Jim was supposed to do originally, which he did eventually. But I like his character arc was really good in comparison to Andy's went the opposite way. So I like how Daryl's character grew in the show. So
I felt bad for him when his whole all his buddies split the lottery and they didn't include him.
Oh yeah,
that was kind of fucked up. Actually,
they all quit. They all quit, and he was like,
That was kind of fucked up though. Number 8 for you, G. Who you got?
What am I looking at? Hold on, my phone turned off. Sorry.
Okay.
Number 8. Probably a surprise here. I got Karen at number 8. So far, I just got old women. I got Karen at number 8.
Karen is who again? Let's be clear. Karen is
Jim's Karen.
Jim's ex-girlfriend, Karen.
Carefully, yes.
Yeah.
Hotter than Pam.
I liked Karen a lot, and I thought she got the rawest deal on the entire show because Jim just straight up left her in New York City. And after she moved from Connecticut to Pennsylvania for him, she did everything in her power to keep that relationship going. She was as civil as she could be with Pam. She really was. Yeah. She was as civil as she could be with Pam, and I liked her because she didn't like playing the games with everybody.
Yeah.
Like she was the one person on that show that didn't like playing games with anybody. She hated Michael Scott. She hated Michael Scott. Yeah. She couldn't believe that he was a boss. Yeah. And I think that was the cool thing about her character is that she really, everyone else kind of accepted everyone else's faults. She questioned everyone like a normal person would. Yeah. And,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, "What's wrong with these people?" Like she couldn't understand Andy. She never even spoke to Andy really. She didn't understand anything about him. But and then at the end, I like the fact that they gave her some closure that she met somebody. She was pregnant at the end, and her and Pam got closure. But I think my favorite episode is when she tried to take Stanley from them, and that they broke into her place trying to steal their printer.
Oh yeah,
that
was great.
And she just bitches Jim out, and Jim just walks out with his tail between his legs.
If you froze time from when that breakup happened between Karen and Jim, Karen was better for Jim than Pam was. Obviously, with Pam, we grow into at least in my case, and we'll see in the rankings in a second. And I told you guys early on in the show, I didn't care for Pam either myself. I was like, "You gonna leave this for her, really?" Now, obviously, you watch the show.
It's a toss-up with me when it comes to both of them.
Well, now when you watch the show in all 9 seasons, it makes sense. But season 3, when Pam is still, I don't know what I do. I don't know who I want to have. I don't know. It's like, dude, pick the hotter chick, dude. Let's go. The hotter chick is also the one who wants to be with you. The average looking chick is the one that wants to. That's just like undecided. Like, come on, dude. But
man, that's love, bro.
That's love. But again, this is if you froze season 3, frozen time. Yeah. But obviously, it shows play on. It's different. All right, number 7, Rosalyn Ross. What you got?
Number 7, I have family.
I like it. I mean, he's high. He's high on my list. He's pretty high on my list.
So I have these moments with people that drive their appeal for me. And the episode, first of all, I like that he never, ever, 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 ever cared about Michael. Like, he had zero respect for him
For anybody.
because he knew he was an idiot.
He likes Phyllis. He likes Phyllis.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's
I
it.
think
Phyllis
he
was
was
his girl.
probably neutral. He probably was neutral on most of the people that worked there.
Yeah.
Like,
the only
he
person
could
he liked
give
was
or
Phyllis.
Yeah, he could take him or leave him.
Mhm.
But Michael, he could always leave. And so knowing that and then building up to this time when he raked Michael over the coals when Mike, I even forgot what Mike did. Like, I forgot what he pretended was happening.
No, because I think he was telling Stanley to pay attention because he was doing his crosswords. And Stanley,
but not just that one. That's one of them, G. But the other one is like when he pretended like Stanley had lost his job. Like, he did something. Like, he pretended like somebody got fired.
No, it was the same episode. Yeah. Same episode. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. So that's my Stanley episode. That's why he made the list, because he did. Because I also have feelings that I'll share about Michael when I get there, but he did not care for Michael at all, and I appreciated that. In that one episode, when at all times he let Michael know it mildly, and then in a full rundown, he makes number 7. That's how he got on.
Stanley was a zero fucks character the whole entire show. That's for damn sure. They didn't care.
He was.
And he was consistently the same guy from 1 to 9. So
I think him and Meredith were the two who really just didn't give a fuck on that.
Yeah,
show.
absolutely. Especially Meredith.
Meredith didn't give a fuck.
What she's God. Number 7 for me was Creed. To me, Creed felt like the cherry on top of the entire show. Like, Creed wasn't a main character, but again, as you said when Roz said Creed was number 8, Creed was a guy that when he had the little screen time he had, it just felt like it made sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know, it's just Creed, especially the end of the last episode too, when he was like, was he housing himself in the office? Everybody, he comes outside and he's like naked, everybody's like looking at him, like, oh god, it's crazy. But yeah, Creed was great, man. Creed was absolutely one of my favorites on the show. I wish he got more screen time, but I think the way they used him was perfect, I'll be honest with you. So, all right, G, what you got? Number 7.
Number 7, you guys are gonna hate, but I don't give a fuck. I got Robert California at number 7.
Good God! Good God!
Yo, Robert California was such an extreme character, and I mean, if you watch The Blacklist, it's funny to me to see him play Robert California, and then to see him play his role in The Blacklist. It's just funny watching this. But I thought he was great, man. Especially when the company was back with David, what's his name? The boss, I forgot his name. David
Wallace.
Yeah.
When David Wallace took it over, when he was a billionaire, bought the company back, and then he goes, "Oh, who are you?" He gives him a totally different name.
Yeah, that was.
so
what was it? It was Bob Cosmetic?
Yeah, something like that. It was calling himself Bob, and everybody's like, "What?" And everybody just shut up. And then he ended up giving him like a job where he goes to Europe or something to check out women. It was some ridiculous shit. But I just loved his character because his character was just a scheming liar the entire time. But he was like this guy who acted as if he was so above everybody, but he had these tics about him that made him the most awkward person to be around. I loved Robert California. I thought he was great.
You know what? If anything, I'll take him out of my bottom 3 and put Gabe's fucking creepy ass on there instead. Because really, Robert California at least was funny as shit.
Well, and the way
he was hilarious.
The way he treated Andy, I thought was great. Like Andy would come into his office, he'd be like, "Andy, is this even necessary?" Or he would say, "Andy, I lost interest in this conversation 2 minutes ago."
He's a dick. He's a dick.
He was hilarious.
Yeah. All right, number 6, Rosalyn Ross. What you got?
Number 6, I have actually David Wallace.
Oh wow,
nice. He didn't make my list, but I like David Wallace though. But
I like David a lot. I like that he was. It's hard. Like, geez, what you were saying about Jan, about the fact that she was really corporate. Like, I love that they had, like, for me, David was a really corporate presence who also was funny. You know what I mean? Like, he just had enough, he was just light enough for it to make sense that he was a part of this group and this show, because he was so hilarious to me, but he was having to do it within the confines of a character who was like the least weird out of all of these people. But I also like and again, these moments sell me on folks. The whole episode, I think it was 2 episodes, when Jan is in her lawsuit and and they read they're reading Michael's diary, but they're also reading David Wallace's performance review of Michael.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I mean, and they have his deposition, so they're reading all the stuff from David, and it's just all bad. Like, come on, he's a nice guy, but he's not, he's not cut out for. At that moment, at the end of that second episode, when Michael is like, out of all the stuff he's heard, Michael looks at David and says, I think you're a nice guy too. And just the way that David looked at him, like, so tenderly, like, I don't know, he fit perfectly within the realm of these weirdos as the corporate dude who also was like just a hint of weird that was funny as hell.
And you know what's funny is that actor, I think his name's Andy Buckley or Buckley, like, he's actually a really funny actor, and he is
really funny, yeah.
He had to tone it down so much to be corporate over here, so it was a good job by him.
Right. All right, my number 6 is actually going to be Pam. And Pam is somebody I didn't care for early in the show. Like, I found her to be a little bit annoying, just honestly. But her story, the way her and Jim got together finally after 3 seasons, and just, she stayed pretty much true to who she was for the most part, and you grow to like that to some degree, same reason why I like Stanley so much. And she there was never any drama between her and Jim other than the end, and she always put her marriage first, which I love, so she ended up being very likable, even though there were things, you may disagree with her on how she acted with certain things with her and Jim. I do think that she was still likable even in those moments, and she's somebody I went from liking to really appreciating in the end.
You guys be disrespecting Pam sometimes. Huh?
Oh, my top 5 is pretty awesome. My top 5 is pretty awesome. So, number 6 for you got.
I got the guy that you guys already said at your 8 and 7. I got Creed up here for all the reasons you guys said. His comedic timing was on point. I think what was masterful about him, EJ, that you alluded to, was that he didn't have a lot of screen time, and I thought that was great because he stole the scene every time he was in it, and it was awesome. Credit to him for that.
Not only that, if he had more screen time, you might actually not like them as much.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it would be too kooky. It'd be too crazy. Right. It'd be like, oh, but by the way, before we continue, when Roz said she hated Bob Packer because he was like the worst person in the world, on the Office Ladies podcast, like Angela Kinsley actually said she was on a phone call with the actor who played Bob Packer, and he said he actually auditioned for the Michael Scott role additionally.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get it, but he also told her, he was like, please, when you go on the podcast, please tell people I'm a father with 2 daughters. I don't act anything like Bob Packer. I'm not like that at all. I'm really not that guy.
And what's funny, the guy that plays Bob Packer also, he's kind of the same character in movies too.
Everything he does. Yep.
Douchebag, every movie.
He's great at it, though. He's fantastic at it. But like, I thought it was funny how he told Angela, he's like, just tell people that I'm not like that. I'm really not.
Hey, look, if it's paying the bills, it's paying the bills. Gives a shit,
exactly.
Right?
That's why. Exactly.
All right, number 5, Ross, what you got?
Number 5, let's see. Number 5, I got Daryl.
Okay.
For all the reasons that, because at some point somebody was talking about Daryl on here, and I loved his character arc. I thought Daryl was kind of mean at first. Like, he was like that whole energy of the warehouse versus the folks who work upstairs, which is a real energy that happens on these on corporate jobs that have like shipping departments or whatever, or
Take it from me on that.
Departments.
That's
that's a real energy. So he was a part of that warehouse energy, and it was really mean spirited. But and I generally wouldn't. But he made that likable because he was funny, and so to watch him even grow from that to where he ended up, and to see his and Jim's friendship really form pretty closely, and even that whole what you guys mentioned about the fact that the whole warehouse team won the lottery, like even that to me felt like the hard line drawn. Like an almost like complete ending to the old version of them winning and going separate from him, and then they all quit. Was like, for real, this is the end of that version of Daryl. And so that was kind of like the sentiment of that episode. It's like, oh, you lost your friends. They didn't tell you they were going in on the ticket, and he felt like he was, you know, a different person and separate from them now. So I loved where they took Daryl. But when I was prepared not to like him for a really long time, just because that energy was so mean to start. Like, they were mean. It was uncomfortable to me.
And he got the girl too.
But he came around.
And he got the girl he wanted too. On top of that, the girl from the house.
He did, yeah.
They didn't highlight much about it, but he got the girl, so it's good for him. Here's my shocker of the entire top 10. My number 5 is Holly.
What?
I love Holly. To me, Holly is the only reason Michael Scott's in my top 10. Holly made Michael Scott bearable for me, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Because he took.
I don't disagree with you at all.
Because while she was the same person, Michael Scott, she wasn't a fucking narcissistic nut job. You know what I'm saying? She was likable. She took the edge off Michael Scott, made him likable for me, and that was the one couple I was rooting for more than anything else. Was that those two? And I don't know, something about her. She's just such a sweet. You talk about Erin being adorable, and Erin is adorable. G, I agree 100%. But Holly, oh my god, this is adorable as hell.
No, like Holly doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Okay, it's fine.
But yeah, like I liked her because Michael liked her. I mean, you know, that's how I felt about Holly. Like, I was like, because you kind of just want Michael to find that forever person for him, you know, because you do it does become very desperate and sad to see throughout the course of the show. So I just wanted him to do it anybody at that point. I felt like a parent that had like a 45-year-old son, and I'm just like, just find somebody, kind of like how my parents were, I guess. But you know, just find somebody already.
Well, and he got the perfect one. He got the correct one. Like, look, Jan's hot, obviously. You know, the other girl he was dating while with Jan and all that. But Holly was perfect.
His real wife he dated on the show as well.
Oh, really?
The real estate? Yeah, that's his real wife. The real estate.
The real estate agent was his real wife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, that's why they gave her that one scene when she sold Jim and Pam's house at the end.
Yeah.
That they put her in that one scene. So I was like, payback for them, whatever.
Yeah, but Holly was amazing. So she's top 5 for me personally. So, all right, go ahead, G. You're number 5.
From mine, it's the man, the myth, Kevin Malone. That's my number 5 right there. Kevin Malone is like, I mean, he's almost like Creed, except he had more screen time. You know, I think when Kevin won me over the most, it's actually where he almost made me cry, and I really mean that. It was when when him and Andy battled with Bob Packer and all of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I keep on saying Bob Packer. With Vance about the parking.
Bob Vance,
because they had. And because Kevin was like, I can't walk, and Andy's like, this is ridiculous, and then they won that. All the guys moved their cars out, and Kevin at the end was like, after Stacy left me, and he had to he couldn't speak for a second. He was like, it's just good to win one. I was like, oh, I love this dude. Like, you just. That was beautiful acting. That was like so vulnerable, and that's the thing I love about The Office is that these people show such vulnerability, and I think that's what gets you into the show. And Kevin won me with that because I had tears in my eyes when he said that. I was like, wow, that's something. Because this guy is
right. It was the same reason why I like Angela too. Same reason you said that. You're not supposed to like her, but yet it's something about her. You know, I guess.
And on top of that, his comedic timing again, just perfect. Just I loved actually when Holly thought he was slow, and he goes, "Wait, you think I'm retarded?"
That whole thing was great.
Because before that, he was like, "I'm totally gonna do Holly."
Yeah.
He's great.
And that's why I love Holly. Those scenes with Holly and him are actually very underrated. Honestly, I have to agree with you on that one. Okay, number 4, Roz.
My number 4 is Michael.
Okay.
And and so now we're getting down to the wire.
Right.
He would have been, so I'm going to have to say a thing, which is going to preview a thing that I'll say later. But it's in line with what EJ just said, which is that he probably would have been lower had it not been for Holly.
Wow.
Like, he would have been.
It's harsh,
I did not listen. Michael in that first, I don't even know, across several seasons, like well into, like Jim and Pam were married, right, when he broke up with Pam's mother because on her birthday.
Because she was old.
Because
He's an idiot. I mean, come on.
I mean, the way he broke up with her was hilarious.
That shit was
Like,
hilarious.
He's hilarious, but he's an idiot.
But it was so bad, like cringeworthy.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, why are you still? And you're right. Like people would still let him get away with it. Like, why are y'all letting him get away with being this bad? So he would have. I mean, he was hilarious as hell, like amazing. I mean, of course, Steve Carell is amazing, but that character, he would be towards the bottom, if not on my hate list, had it not been for Holly.
Right.
And
I agree.
also, I felt sorry for him. And these two things were kind of going on at the same time. I also felt sorry for him in the way that Jan, like, because their relationship was so psychotic, I also felt sorry for him in relation to that relationship. Because when we go, the dinner party, which is by far one of the most amazing episodes of The Office, when Jim, Pam, Dwight, and his babysitter, and Andy and Angela go to Michael and Jan's condo for that dinner.
That was the best episode for me.
Yeah, he's sleeping on the foot of on that ottoman at the foot of his bed. Like, I was like, oh my goodness. So I had a lot of sympathy for him in that relationship as well. But he barely made it. But he's this high because of Holly. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. All right.
Number 4 is Dwight Schrute.
Nice.
Great. And by the way, Dwight was going down my rankings throughout the entire series. And in season 9, especially the last, I would say, 5 episodes, really redeemed himself. Really, like, he does care. He's not like Michael Scott. Michael Scott is literally an idiot. Dwight is just, there's no way better, I guess. Like, Dwight is just, like, he's smart, but, you know what I'm saying? Naive, but he's likable in a way.
He's complex.
Yeah,
he's complex. He's very complex.
He's likable, though, in that way. In a way that Michael Scott is not. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the way the show ended, too, like, him and Jim ended up becoming best friends, and,
Pam, actually, as you said, Pam was his best friend.
Right. Well, it's funny, because, he didn't get anybody shitting out of us but Pam. Always took care of Pam for some reason. And I don't know, man. Dwight was a good, in the end, and you see how he works out. He was a good person. And, by the way, look, I didn't like you fired Kevin. I didn't like it. But, Kevin sucked at his job. Let's be real.
Yeah, and then they even passed it up at the end.
Yeah. He made the right choice. He was
they hugged each other, like, it was cute.
Yeah. And he said, dude, you're not good at your job. Sorry, I had to break it to you. He was pretty honest that way. So I appreciate that. Dwight, number 4.
For me, I'm going with my girl Angela at number 4. For me, this is what I've always said about Angela. I think her character arc was the most complex, the most developed. And it hit everything for me, her character. Because at the beginning, she was this background character who was just a bitch. She developed into more of a bitch. And then she developed these relationships with Andy, with Dwight, with the senator. Her relationship with Oscar, which got really confusing, with the senator. And then when she breaks down another person, when she broke down and cried in front of Oscar and said she loved Dwight, that got me too. Because that was it for Angela. That was her tipping point. Yeah. Like, she lost everything. She lost her cats. Like, it was just her son living like homeless almost. And she just wanted Dwight. At the end of the day, she pretty much, and even at the last episode of The Wedding, when you could tell, it didn't even look like they were acting in that last final scene, when they're all in the office together. Yeah. And she comes in, she goes, "Hi, guys." That totally is not the way Angela has been. Mm-hmm. She goes, "Hi, guys." No. And it was like, wow. Like, all she needed this whole time was Dwight Schrute for her not to be a bitch,
I'm gonna say it again. You just mentioned season 9. Probably the most underrated season of the entire show.
It is.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because even like people like Phyllis got more screen time, and she actually was really good in that season. I thought the guys who didn't get enough screen time because Michael being gone, allowed other characters to flourish. And the 8 was kind of 9 was great.
Yeah, for me, Angela becomes one of my favorite characters. Like, and then even her little quippy bitch stuff is just so mean and bitchy. It's hilarious. Yeah. Like, she's so mean to Phyllis. She pretty much thinks Pam's a slut. Like, yeah, she's hilarious.
That's great. Okay, number 3.
Yeah, almost done.
All right, Rosalyn, number 3. What you got?
Dwight.
Okay.
And this was a hard one, kind of, because I knew he needed to go somewhere. I just couldn't figure out where. But ultimately, I do like Dwight. Like, I liked his character. He was hilarious. And you're right. He was kind of he was clueless. Like, it was like he almost was clueless just about how much of a robot and how he could be very unfeeling. But then when he would have these moments where he was being kind, like when he took over as the building manager and Pam was failing at her job, and he overheard that conversation between Pam and Jim, and he basically gave, I don't know, I can't remember what this character's name was, but he was Dwight's assistant for a while, and he gave that guy the way for Pam to be able to beat him at the building manager game. I don't know, like little moments like that. But honestly, where I started to really feel differently about him, it didn't take very long. It was when Angela broke up with him. Like,
he was destroyed.
Episodes around there. Yeah, he was destroyed. And so when Pam and Jim went out there to stay at Truth Farms, and he was crying the whole time. And then that conversation that Jim had with him about, how he wouldn't wish that kind of loss, like the loss of that kind of love on his worst enemy, and that included Dwight. And just to watch Dwight sitting there crying, like I don't know, he got on my nerves, but at the same time, it's like he is a mentally challenged person working in your office, and you don't know how, you know what I mean? Like, he's that clueless about how unfeeling and uncaring he comes off. But when you get a chance to see that he does care, not in the Michael way where he's like kissing Michael's butt, but in a real, authentic way, it was, I don't know, that was overpowering. So he made the list, and pretty high at number 3.
Absolutely. Okay, go ahead, G, what do you say?
No, I was just going to jump in because my number 3 is Dwight as well.
Okay.
For all the reasons that, for all the reasons, we actually agreed one. Yeah. Because first of all,
just one.
I think from the main cast, I think pound for pound, he was probably the best actor of the main cast.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
I think he was the best actor in that main cast. And like, it's funny because those times where he does become vulnerable, it's so shocking to you because he's this stern, I could rip like a gorilla's head off his body kind of guy, you know. And that's the thing though, because when he did take losses, it came across so like it humbled him so much. Like it even came down to points when Jim would rag him, and even Jim would notice he took a joke too far, and he would have to string it back because he's like, whoa, like this, I really hurt his feelings, you know. And I thought one of the best episodes is that whole thing when Roz brought up early about Andy pretty much getting Dwight fired. And he's leaving the office, and Jim is walking back with Pam, and Jim's like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he just was crying, and he hugs Jim, and then walks away. Like he just like, meanwhile this guy busted his chest, like he was gonna miss him. You know, like it was those things like that about Dwight that really just got you. I think Dwight was this guy,
and he was the best worker too. There, he actually was the best worker. So
he was. You know, and that's why I think it was good at the end. And his relationship with Michael always got me because he always thought he was smarter than Michael, better than Michael, but he loved him. It was a weird relationship. He loved Michael though. Like there was no doubt he loved Michael. He just wanted Michael to do things his way because he thought he was better at it.
Yeah. Which, in retrospect, honestly, he probably was. And my favorite scene of Dwight is actually early in the show. You remember the healthcare episode?
Oh yeah.
Jim passes on the advice. Jim passes on the because Michael asked Jim to do the healthcare and pick the healthcare, and he said no, I'll pass on Dwight. Dwight's like, yes, I'll do it. Well, can I have my own office?
Give everybody the shittiest
workspace. It's a workspace. Okay, real quick. So, a little disclaimer here with my next 3. Any of these next 3 could be number 1. Basically, this is 1A, 1B, 1C for me. These 3 guys.
Okay.
All right.
Honestly, I literally change these every day. Tomorrow it could be another guy. So, number 3 for me is Stanley. Stanley has been number 1 for me pretty much the entire time watching the show, but I made a change recently. But tomorrow he'll be number 1 again for me. But Stanley, number 3 for me, again, consistent, same guy all the way through. Kind of like Creed, with more screen time, and impactful scenes. I mean, the laziness could get over the top sometimes. Him being lazy and just like, I'm ready to go home now. It's 5 o'clock yet, that kind of thing. But he's true to his character, So
Two wives, pretty much.
Yeah, of course the memes. The memes are great. Pretzel Day. Boo. Back in the line. The basketball episode. Can't dribble shit. Really, Stanley? Yo, black man can't dribble the damn basketball? Come on now. You know, but yet the guy's a player. He had what, 2 affairs, 3 affairs in the whole 9 seasons? It's great. So Stanley number 3 for me. All right, number 2, who you got, Roz?
Oh, but I do want to say something about Stanley, that when when Ryan goes out on sales call with him and they meet with like this, they go
the black
to this
guys?
office that's like the black dudes. and Ryan is like, hi. And Stanley tells the story in the car. It's so good. It's so good.
How about Stanley too? Also to Ryan after he tries to hit on his daughter. You know, have you lost your have you lost your damn mind? I'll help you find it for you.
That is a child, boy. I mean, it's so good.
Because I'll help you find it.
I'll help you find it. All right, number 2, Ross.
I know G is going to take a lot of issue with this. Much unnecessary issue with this. But Jim's my number 2. And I feel like we talked about this before, G, where you were saying how Jim was really mean, particularly to Dwight. And
he's probably the biggest dick on the show.
You said he was a dick. Yeah, you said he was a dick.
Dwight, though.
So is Dwight. But he's like almost normal. Like, certainly he's supposed to be the one in the office that makes us realize how ridiculous everyone else is that works there. And then you sort of start to see the cracks in his foundation as well. But he gets number 2 primarily because the way he went and got Pam. Like, he meant that thing. Like, he liked her. He stuck with it. He waited it out. He wasn't really passive. He wasn't, really aggressive with her either, but he wasn't, like, he actively made, the fact that he cared for her well known. And when he shows back up in the office, even though I don't like her, when he shows back up in the office after he leaves New York and walks in and is like, Pam, what are you doing tomorrow night? Can we go to dinner? And she cries. Like, that is forever. That moment and the moment where they're at their rehearsal dinner and he's giving his toast and he's talking about how he knew he was waiting on his wife, even though people were giving him a hard time because he was waiting 6 years for a date with a girl that he worked with. Listen, that dude, you can't get too mad at a person who pursued and treated well, despite what y'all think, treated well the love of his life. So that's probably, because you made me see how kind of mean he was, because I don't think I ever saw it that way until we talked about it before EJ had even seen the series. Right. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of painful to watch sometimes. How
it is. Because Jim didn't even make my top 10. I don't hate him either. He's not on my hate list. Like he didn't make my top 10 list.
He didn't make top 10? Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah, because I actually hated the way he was with Pam at the end. Like when Pam like messed up recording the thing, he like screamed on her. And like she almost slept with the camera guy because of that.
Oh yeah.
Like camera guy was gonna sneak in on that one, But like I didn't like him for that. I didn't like the fact he like EJ said, he was doing stuff behind Pam's back, business. Like Pam's the kind of person their relationship was so on screen perfect that you would have thought he could have talked to her about anything. So I didn't get it. It seems so out of character. I understand why everybody likes Jim. I mean, his faces to the camera are pretty much the staple of the whole show.
Well, let me say real quick.
Facial expressions. His facial expressions are probably the most important things on the show.
Well, let me say for the record, Jim's number 2 for me also.
Okay.
Again, 1A. But again, 1A, 1B, 1C. I mean, these guys could be on number 1 on any given day. Honestly, with these last 3. Jim was smooth too, dude. Jim was fucking smooth.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was.
I don't know. Because don't you remember when Holly came into the office and Michael's like, oh my God, I love her. I want to tell her. And Jim's like, maybe you should take it slow. Maybe you should be her friend first. He goes, oh yeah, that took you forever. Michael's like, all right. And Jim's like, okay. Like he didn't think that was coming.
Yeah. No, but Jim, I have a question though, and my wife actually brought us up a couple weeks ago. There was never any conflict with Jim and Pam really until season 9.
Yeah.
Are you disappointed they didn't have any conflict sooner, or are you glad they waited until the end of the show to do this?
No, I thought it was good at the end because there was no need for it. Okay. Because there was so many other conflicts and relationships going on anyway. Like, there was so many other conflicts going on. Like the Andy Aaron conflict. I mean, it was a minor one, but it was a conflict. And Angela I think Angela kind of took over the whole relationship conflict thing for a while. Between the senator and Andy.
Honestly,
Andy
she had the most. She had the most, really.
Which is funny because she called Pam like the office slut, and she pretty much was the one.
Well, that's the thing about Angela. Angela was a Christian woman that's a hypocrite and all that. That's the whole point of her character. So, but Jim was.
I thought there was. While they didn't have conflict with each other per se, I thought, when they get married and they have their first child and then they have their second, I felt that the tension that you did see in their relationship was about them adjusting. Like, they did a good job showing them reconciling with, so much change and being parents of 2 kids under 5, and, they can't get any sleep and they're showing up late. I thought while there wasn't a lot of conflict with them, I felt like they were starting to build a narrative around the idea that we weren't going to be able to see them being the, cutesy, chipper couple that they always were, because they had to start thinking about their daughter first, and that changed them. And then they had their son, and that changed them. And then now the weight of all of that, then plus, new ambitions for Jim, then kind of compounded into like a relationship issue. So to me, it wasn't like they didn't have any conflict, like they were sailing smoothly. It was kind of like it was just building slowly until it became sort of a train wreck.
Go ahead. I know we're running short on time. We got to wrap it up. But I just wanted to say, like, when Jim, to me, honestly, was just a pussy, though. Because, like, he couldn't break up. He couldn't break up with Karen correctly. The way he broke up with Amy Adams was a complete dickhead move when they were on the boat. Because he threw a little bitch attitude because Pam got engaged. He threw a little bitch attitude, just told Amy Adams, yeah, forget it, we're broken up. And the way, remember when Andy was flipping out, but the camera went on Jim, and Jim was like, no, get away from me. Like, he was scared of Andy. And not for nothing, Roy was going to beat the living shit out of him if it wasn't for Dwight.
Yeah.
So Jim being 6'5", all the jokes, all that, he was a pussy at the end of the day. And he yelled at his wife because she couldn't record it. Like, come on, he was a pussy.
I guess we see why he's not in the top 10 then. I guess we see why. Number 2 for you. Who's you got, G? Number 2.
Number 2, Pam.
Okay.
Which explains why my feelings for Jim are so like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think Pam is kind of like, see, it was funny because my wife did a top 10 of this because she was like, oh, you're doing a top 10? She just did one for fun. She actually had Dwight as her number 1.
Okay.
And because she just loves Dwight. Yeah, she just loves Dwight.
Give me her list. What is her list?
Oh, I forgot what it was. I'll see if she'll text it to me.
Okay.
But like, for me, like, Pam, she said Jim was the glue of the show. I thought Pam was kind of the glue of the show. And I love the fact that Michael's last episode, they did the whole thing of Michael keep asking Jim, where's Pam? Where's Pam? Where's Pam? Like, he needed her, to say goodbye, to get all that closure of, and then like the way Pam just found him in the airport and hugged him, and you couldn't hear what they were saying. I thought that was beautiful. I thought the fact that Michael didn't have his microphone on, she didn't have hers, and they say something to each other, they hug each other, and then she just watches them pull off. And I thought that was beautiful the way they did that. Right. And Pam, honestly, she got me once again in one of those crying scenes. Is when they had that women's meeting thing, and she talks about, I just want a house with a white picket fence, and then at the end she realizes she hates her life so much, and she's like, they don't have houses like that around here, and she just breaks down crying. Right. She felt like she was in such a rut. She hated her life, which is why I think the whole thing with Jim, which I told Roz before, like I think she was feeling like she wasn't enough for Jim. Like, remember the whole thing? She was like, I feel like I'm going to lose you. And Jim was like, no, Pam only knows that neighborhood. She only knows Scranton. Mm-hmm. So for her, losing Jim would kill her. Like, she doesn't feel like she could compete. Even though she was a pretty girl, she never felt that way or came across that way. She was always just like, you know, kind of like do, you know, kind of clunky, kind of clumsy, kind of goofy, you know. But I thought Pam's character was one of the best of the show. Like, obviously, she's my number two.
You can argue actually that you make a point there. You can argue that Pam actually was the glue of the show. You can argue that.
Yeah, because she had a relationship with everybody, sort of.
Yeah.
You know, and
I
it was
agree
just,
with that.
You know, like, and I loved her relationship with Dwight developing because at first it was prank Dwight, and then Dwight by like season 5, season 6 loves Pam.
Right.
Like, and he loves her totally platonically, wants to protect her. You know, and that's it. And I remember this one episode, they're all yelling at each other because she was like, Dwight, you're supposed to be my best friend. He goes, you were my best friend, then you married my enemy.
That's true. Good point. That's actually a great point.
So, yeah, so Pam's my number 2.
Okay. Right, number 1 now, right? Officially?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's number 1? I got we may have the same one, I think. Let me see. Ross, go.
No, you already named her. Holly is my number 1.
Really? Wow.
Number
yeah,
1 is
she's
trash.
my number 1 because
I love it.
well,
Number 1 is trash.
no, but she's my listen. Without her, I would have despised the whole central character of the show. Like without her, I would have never understood how Michael ever made it to season 7 or however how long he made it. And he needed her to humanize him, and she was really good for him. Like, she had a really good energy. She was, I don't know, like there's something about her when she arrived in Scranton that there was just a really good energy on her. And to see how strongly Michael responded and reacted to her, and the fact that he was better because of her, and he was the person that this show was supposed to be centered around, she mellowed him out for me. She's my number 1 favorite. Like, something happens to me. Like, when I'm rewatching, there is a shift that happens to me in my energy when she arrives, because I know he's going to change, and that's going to make me feel so much better about watching the show.
Rosalyn, the only reason she wasn't higher on my list is because she wasn't on the show long enough, honestly.
Yeah, she wasn't on long enough. Exactly.
I wanted more of her on the show.
Know, it's weird that I have her at 1, but that's how much of an impact, because again, she had that much of an impact on the primary character of that show for 7 seasons. For the small
only reason Michael Scott is even on my list is because of her.
He's the only reason he's on mine too.
Yeah. So,
definitely.
My number 1, as G said earlier, the man, the myth, legend, Kevin Malone.
Yo, you have Stanley and Kevin
God.
in your top 3.
You're damn right, dude. Kevin, I know this. He's subtle too, but he's so dumb. But he's he's Kevin. He's Kevin Malone, dude. I mean, it's hard to explain the memes. I mean, just everything about him. He's just hysterical, dude. Like, even when he's dumb, like he's fighting with Angela's baby. Really?
I forgot that happened. I had forgotten that happened.
You know?
Yeah, I forgot that.
I mean, seriously, everything about I mean, you guys, I don't even explain this. I mean, it's this is why he's just funny as shit, dude. He's just that guy. He's that guy. You know?
God, I can't believe you guys. You got Holly and Kevin.
But by the way, again, Stanley can be number 1 tomorrow. So can Jim. So 1A, 1B, 1C. Honestly, in my opinion, because to me it was Stanley all the way through for me until today.
That's crazy. You see, like, for me, like, I guess you could say I went chalk because I got Michael Scott at number 1.
Oh, God.
Which is, I got Michael Scott at number 1. Easily.
Really?
Easily. Let me tell you something about Michael Scott. Like, you could say he was narcissistic, whatever. He really loved every single person in that office, which is why when that thing happened, like, even Stanley made him cry. You know, and Stanley hated him, and he hated him. Obviously, remember, like Rosa said, like, Dwight has, like, mental issues, which he obviously did. So did Michael. Like, and
so
and
did
they
Michael,
showed
he
that.
did, yeah.
Yeah, like Michael had issues of, like, wanting to be accepted by everybody. He wanted everybody to be his friend. And he tried so hard and overbearingly, which is why he was terrible with women, you know. But I think Michael, one of the scenes that got to me a lot was it was the Halloween episode. And at the end of the episode, it's so sad. It's just him watching TV by himself. Then the doorbell rings and it's this bunch of kids, and he looks so happy to see all those kids at his door when he gave them candy. Like, it just showed you, like, wow, yeah, he could be a pain in the ass in the office, but deep down, he's, like, the nicest guy in the world, you know? And, like, I just think the way he was, even, like, for Jim. Like, when Jim was going through his stuff with Pam, like, Michael would actually, there was 1 or 2 episodes where Michael was trying to be his real friend. You know, he wasn't trying to be a dick. He was just, like, really trying to be, because he wanted Jim to be his best friend. You know, so he was trying to be that shoulder for him, you know. And I just think Michael, the way he was, and, of course, the Holly thing put him over. Because yeah, he loved Jan, but that was more of a lust. You know, he was into these other people, but Holly was the one that he knew from day one he needed to be with Holly. You know, like, their sense of humor, everything clicked. And the show doesn't happen, obviously, without Michael. So... You know, but and I really think, like, when you watch it over, when you watch it over and know who Michael is, the narcissism, you could tell is just an act. And I think that's why I like Michael so much, because as you watch the show more, you know it's all bullshit with him. You know, he's really the most insecure person in that office. You know, and I think those insecurities, they come out a lot. So when you see people take advantage of him or whatever, you're like, damn, Michael, like, you know, you want him to get this win, and he doesn't, you know, because people take advantage of him or whatever. And, you know, for me, it's always going to be Michael Scott, number 1.
All right. We did it. You know what's funny? We probably could have done like 2 episodes of this. Do like a top 5 or 10 least favorite characters and top 10 favorite characters.
You made fun of my 2 lists, but now you're trying to create a whole, you know, new concept out of it.
I got my wife's list right now. If you guys want to hear it really
quick.
Go right ahead. From 10 to 1, from 10 to 1, and like you, EJ, she said the first 3 are interchangeable. Mm-hmm. 10 on, I'm not gonna say what. Number 10, she got Kelly. Number 9,
really, Christina?
Let me tell you, number 9, she got Oscar. I was like, what?
I can't stand Oscar, dude. I'm sorry. I mean, at the end, he was a little bit horrible, but, you know, helping out Angela or whatever. But Oscar was just a fucking, just a douche, dude.
She likes Oscar. I don't know why. Then, number 8, she likes Aaron. Me and her just are obsessed with Ellie Kemper. That's why.
That's fine.
Okay.
7 is Creed.
Okay.
Very good. That's why.
Just like mine.
Yeah, then 6, I'm telling you, me and her just watch it together. So 6, she got Jan. She got Jan higher than I did at 10. She loves Jan.
Wow, really?
Yeah, 5, Angela, for the same reasons I got him.
Okay, wow.
4, Jim. 3, Michael. 2, Pam. And 1, Dwight.
2, Pam, 1, Dwight. Okay.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Oscar, though. Oscar.
See, like Kelly, I kind of get Kelly, because like Kelly has, if you're into her humor, the kind of Creed thing. She says one line every 2 episodes.
I agree with that.
If you're into her humor, then it's hilarious. You know, Oscar was the one I was like, what? Like, and the thing is that, like, she said, and I actually thought she hated Robert California. She goes, she kind of almost made Robert California her 10.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because she doesn't like David Spade. You know, she doesn't like David Spade. She also doesn't like Kathy Bates.
No,
James Spader.
Yeah, David Spader, whatever. James Spader.
Yeah.
Who the hell's David Spade?
David Spade was on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Blonde.
That's a short white guy.
Short white guy, blonde white guy, yeah. That was James Spader.
Totally not the same person.
Not at all the same person.
This is a great episode, guys. This is a great episode. I'm glad we finally did this. I'm glad I finally watched the show. I already said it's already in my top 3 for sitcoms of all time. It's sharing real estate with the Jeffersons and Scrubs. So there you go.
But for me, The Office is up there with Seinfeld and Saved by the Bell.
Oh my God, Saved by the Bell.
I love Saved by the Bell. Just chill, Roz. Chill.
Stop it, Roz.
I know. My bad.
Roz, where do you live? Nashville, right? Or Memphis, right?
Memphis, really? Yes.
Are they opening up the streets? Because you need to get out, man.
Yeah.
How is it over there? Because you're struggling. You're really struggling, man.
I hate you.
By the way,
I gotta hang up now. I'm dying.
Although I will say, Roz, great job on Ray Ray's podcast last week. It was really good stuff. I enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks. It was good to catch up with Ray Ray last week. Yeah
definitely.
Good to talk about. G, can you please watch this week?
Can I watch what?
The Last Dance.
Can you watch The Last Dance this week?
Let me tell you. No, I've been recording them, but I haven't watched a single one. So, and honestly,
we need you to meet us on Twitter on Sunday.
But like, what am I going to learn? Like, I know everything. Like, I'm not going to learn anything new. That's the whole thing about it. Not really.
We need you in the conversation. You're not going to learn anything. We just need you in the collective conversation with us. Get over there.
I'm sure I don't have to watch it, and I could just go on Twitter and just bash everybody.
Well, to defend you real quick, he's recording it, so he plans on watching at some point down the road. Maybe just one whole binge. What we'll do is once he's binged the whole documentary, we'll come back here and we'll review it.
Yeah, you know what it is, guys? You got to remember, like, my Twitter feed is 70% Chicago fans
right.
because of the Bears.
I keep forgetting that.
So they're so annoying about it, so I have no interest in watching it, and they've kind of said everything that's happened on it.
That's true.
You know?
That's
Yeah.
true.
You know,
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
You got all those Bears folks on there, the Chicago folks. Yep.
Yeah,
Annoying ass people. Anyway, G, anyone before we go? I mean, obviously we're quarantined, on lockdown, whatever. But you guys do anything other than that?
There's nothing really much going on. The Bears Brawl podcast still going on. I wasn't on last week. I had stuff going on at home.
Okay.
Just really quick. Rest in peace out to my father-in-law Joe, and rest in peace out to my good friend, my friend Fred the Godson Castellano. I call him Castellano. No one else called him Fred the Godson Castellano. Underground New York rapper. I knew for 20 years as well. So yeah, both of them fell victim to COVID-19. So Joe, my guy, rest in peace. Fred the Godson, rest in peace.
Okay. Rosalyn?
Well, that's all I got. I'm so happy to hear G's voice after those two losses for the godson and your father-in-law.
Yeah.
And we love you, and so that's why I'm like, we got to get on this call. Like, we need to laugh at each other for a little bit, so I'm glad
It's quite amazing. Yeah. It's quite amazing that how tight we've gotten, especially through this pandemic, also texting each other every day.
And hold on, you just sorry. Shout out to my man Kyle Nash as well, good friend of
yes.
lost his father to this thing as well, man. This thing got to go. Shout out to my man.
Oh no,
Yeah. So shout out to Kyle too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are on text like every day for people who we haven't met in real life. So yeah, glad we could do it.
Was it today? I go, what did I say today? A couple hours ago? Oh, it's podcast day. Where G goes, fuck you. and then I reply, hi, beautiful.
I don't even know what I was doing. I just didn't want to talk.
Oh, God. Well, hopefully we'll pod again within the next couple weeks. I really want to get a regular show going with us, too. It's been a couple months, and like I said, I tell you what, shows like these that keep me sane. So,
yeah, man, definitely.
So
definitely, man.
Yep.
All right, you two.
All right, guys.
Get some
Stay
sleep.
safe, guys.
Enjoy.
All right. Later.
Bye.
Guys. Bye.